So, I heard through the grapevine that you wanted to start a small business. It's really not that hard. I did it. It's not as difficult as I thought it would be. If you are new here, I own a small business called Artfully Divine LLC. And it's a sticker business based on all of my art that I see through my everyday life. It's basically based on the divine beauty that I see and feel and get inspired on a day-to-day basis, because there's beauty in everything if you look hard enough. This channel basically documents my journey as an artist as well as a young entrepreneur, and I get to show you basically everything that I learned throughout my journey, and I share it with you, and hopefully it gives you inspiration and you get to avoid the mistakes that I've done throughout it. I had a mentor that actually started his business, and he gave me like steps that I was able to follow, and I can share that with you, and that's what this video is about. And if that's something that you're interested in, please stay tuned. The very first thing that you want to decide on is, what are you selling? Are you providing a service? Are you providing a physical product? Are you providing a skill? Are you providing a digital product? Once you decide on what you want to sell and how you want to contribute to the business world, you want to go ahead and think about a business name. So this business name can be anything that you want, honestly, just something that resonates with you. I went with Artfully Divine LLC because I wanted art in there, and I really like divine, that there's divine beauty in everything, no matter what it is, and that's what I wanted my business to embody. And there's always divinity in any type of art, so that's why I chose Artfully Divine. And then I added LLC because I made it a limited liability corporation so that it's an entity separate from me. And once you figure out the name that you want to go ahead and look at trademarks and copyrights. You want to see if another business in your area is actually using the same business name that you're using, because if they are, then obviously you can't use it because they already copied it. They already had that specific business name, so you want to make sure that no one's using it. So I got my handy dandy notebook. The next thing that you want to do is file your state Secretary of State website, which is an articles of organization for an LLC. So it's a specific website where you need to sign up to become an LLC. It depends on where you're living and what state you are in. The next thing that you want to go ahead and do is file your general excise tax. So it's different with each state, right? So I'm selling a physical product, and the only thing that I really truly need is a general excise tax, which allows me to sell goods or physical goods within my state. All gonna come later when you do taxes and everything. Taxes is a whole nother topic, because I didn't know that if you are a sole member or an LLC, you would file your taxes, your overall taxes for the business, under your regular tax season. I thought you had to file it separate, so I had to do an amendment. It was a whole ordeal, but we can get into that later. The next thing that you want to go ahead and do is file through the IRS website and get an EIN number. So that EIN number is basically your social security number for your business. Literally an identification number for your business. I wanted to keep everything separate from myself, so I created an LLC, and that's a limited liability corporation. So if you want to keep your business expenses separate from your personal expenses, I would highly recommend opening a separate checking account just for your business, and then associating a credit card just for your business. Hear me out. It's a lot, right? I know. But it will be so much easier for you to separate your purchases and your spending and everything once tax season comes along, because you're going to have to categorize each of your expenses based on direct materials, based on gas, transportation, etc. So it's a lot easier for you to just kind of look through it. Going back to opening a separate card just for your business, you just know that every single transaction that you see on your monthly statement is actually for your business. If you keep it all on your regular credit card, you're going to have to go manually through each transaction and figure out, oh, is this personal or was this actually done for my business? And save yourself the headache and the time, and honestly just open up a separate credit card for it and save the receipts. You can do like a picture or a screenshot, or just print it out and put it inside of a little folder, but it's good to just keep your receipts, especially if you might get audited for being a small business. So that's also something important to remember. Once you file your taxes, You also have a section where you say that you opened up a business. If you ever do TurboTax, there's a section that asks you, did you start a business this year? And then you put that in, and then you can put your business expenses. I didn't know that you had to file it together. I thought you had to file it separately. So when I did that, I had a lot of amendments and stuff that I had to do for my taxes. So that's just a lesson that I learned. You just file it all together one time for your general taxes. Now, if you're selling separate products, you have to file your general excise tax. Now, it gets done either, I believe, on a quarterly or a bi-yearly basis, which is twice a year. So every 6 months, you have to file your general excise tax. And it's also categorized based on your different materials that you sell, as well as what you make for income. So if you do wholesale, sometimes I do wholesale stickers. Where I currently am, it's a different percentage for how much taxes get taken off from your profit. So if it's like, let's say 10%, it's not 10% where I am, but if I sell a product for $100, but it's wholesale, right? So where I live, you have the option to charge your consumers or your customers the wholesale price tax, but it's not necessary. I recommend charging your customers the wholesale tax number so that you actually make the profit that you deserve and you don't have to like mark it down. So, for example, if you sell a product that's $100, right? You have your general excise tax. So if you're doing wholesale, let's say it's like 10%. So you do 10% of $100, which is $10. So instead of selling it $100, you'll sell it for $110. So that $10 you are saving for when you file your general excise tax. If you don't include the $10 into your $100 and you just sell it for $100, you're not actually making $100, you're making $90 because you still have to pay that $10 for your general excise tax. Get what I'm saying? All right, so the next thing I highly recommend is creating a new email account associated with your business. And this will be very great in separating any of your transactions. You can send your receipts there. You can set up a YouTube channel or a website based on your email that's specific for your business. You can have a designated email for when customers have questions, if there's someone that wants to reach out to you, if you want to sell in person. Like, having a separate email is just great. It's just a one place where you can have all of your business inquiries or anything that's related to your business sent. So I highly recommend opening up an email that's specific for your business. And then that leads me into something different. So the fun part, how are you going to be selling your product, right? How are you getting your product to your customer? I opened up an Etsy shop, and that has been really honestly the cheaper option. I really like having an Etsy shop. And then I also opened up a Shopify website. And let me get into the Shopify website really quick. Now that I'm about like 8-ish, wait, oh my gosh, I'm a year into my business. Like, since I opened my business like ending of August, but then I didn't open my website or my Etsy account since like January or December of last year. But anyways, now that I'm reviewing like all of my transactions through my business channels, so I sell online and in person. I go to boutiques, so I would recommend that too. A lot of my income comes in from doing wholesale to local businesses. So I literally go into local businesses and I ask them if they're interested in selling my product. 9 times out of 10, I get declined or rejected. But that's okay, because there's certain businesses that actually accept and sell my products, and I'm very, very grateful for that, because it showed me the exposure that I could get, and my stickers do really, really well. So I know that it's a valuable product for me to sell. And then I also sell online. So I do my Etsy shop, and then I also do my Shopify website. Now the Etsy shop is a lot easier for setting up. You don't have to do marketing because it has SEO, and Etsy does have ad campaigns, and it does show your products out to a lot of people. I did $1 per day, and I kind of stopped because I was definitely making more sales because of the Etsy campaign. But when I looked at the monthly transaction rate, I actually lost money, even though I made more sales, just because of the Etsy campaign was a lot more. But it's really good to do the ad campaign just so you can have sales under your Etsy shop, so it can show you that customers are actually buying it, and it'll incline future customers to purchase it as well. And usually those customers leave reviews, which is awesome. I love my customers that leave reviews because it makes me feel like I'm selling quality products and people are really truly appreciating my work. I recommend it if you want a low startup and you don't really want to do a lot of marketing. I would recommend Etsy. Shopify, it's great to have like your own website, your own thing, something that you create from the ground up, for sure. But it's a lot more expensive and it's a lot more work because there's not really a lot of traffic that's just going for you like Etsy is. Etsy is just pushing the algorithm so that customers, when they're searching stuff, it automatically populates their page for different shops, right? So if you search stickers, it's going to show you a bunch of like different sticker shops, and it's up to the consumer to choose whatever they want. But no one's going to do that for your Shopify website. Customers have to know that your shop is available for them to search it. So it's a little bit different, but then the website also makes you look more legit. It's just a little bit more expensive. So for Shopify, I did a monthly trial and it was like $1 and it was great. It's $40 a month if you do month-to-month basis, which is kind of a lot, or you can do a yearly basis where it's like $300. So I did the yearly basis, and honestly, I only made like 2 sales ish. They were definitely bigger sales because then for Shopify, you definitely get more of the profit because Etsy takes out a portion of your profit on their website. But I would recommend discovering or figuring out how you're going to be selling your products to your consumers, whether it's online or in person. So
that's my 2 cents.
If that's something that you're interested in. If I could go back and like figure out if I wanted to do an Etsy shop or a website, I just kind of wanted to see for myself. I would honestly still stick with the Etsy shop because I don't have that much products that really warrant for me to get a website. So I'm just focusing on creating more products and then taking photos and then uploading it to my website. So another thing that kind of came out, I don't know if this is required for everyone, but it's called the BOIR. I got a piece of mail that basically told me that I had to file it, and it's like something new that came out I think last year where you had to file something. But I'll get more information and I'll put it up here. But if not, you get penalized. It's more of, I forget what it is, but it's something that you had to file or else you get penalized. It protects the consumers and yourself as a business. So that's something else that kind of like
came out of left field that I had to file.
It wasn't hard, honestly. It took maybe half an hour just to fill out the application and send it in. Yeah. Thank you all so much for staying tuned and watching my YouTube video and supporting my channel. If you found some of these tips or some of these steps helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help in growing our channel and growing the community. I'm glad that this platform is something that is growing, and I'm so grateful to every single one of you that is supporting me, and I really truly appreciate it. So thank you all so much for staying tuned, and until next week, I'll see you folks later. Bye.